laughing is a huge part of our marriage, isn't it? Like, just to make me laugh, you'll pull your trousers down.
Or sometimes Cath is Radio 2, The Breakfast Show with Zoe Ball. And Cath had an opportunity to do a pause for thought. And she just went, what do you think about, me sharing our story? When Cath miscarried, we just went back and we were heartbroken, weren't we? Zoe Ball gave Cath a call, I think like 10 days later, to say the phones have been going crazy.
Dai and I have been on a journey of infertility for 17 years now.
Cath longs to be a mum, I long to be a dad.
Yeah.
And as her husband, I long for her to have her heart's desire as well,
And I'm being really honest here. Like, there are times when I'm like so my biggest fear is like, oh my gosh, what would I do if he ever left me? What defines our marriage is the fact that I will keep choosing him. He will keep choosing me.
There's this crazy connection between suffering and hope.
Welcome to Couple Goals, the podcast where we talk all things relationships with couples and experts. So welcome, Dai and Cath.
Hi guys.
Excited.
It's lovely to be here.
Excited to be a Cath.
I'm loving the set. It's lovely to meet you two properly.
Whee.
Come on.
Good.
It's nice to meet in person instead
It
of on the
is.
screen,
Lovely.
isn't it?
And it's nice to enjoy good coffee, isn't it?
Oh, the coffee is fantastic.
Best
My
coffee you've ever
coffee's
had.
terrible, but that's because it's a tea.
That's because it's a tea. Yeah.
That went
Which I
wrong,
asked
didn't it?
for, so that's on me.
That's clever. Brewed a coffee that came out of tea. There you are.
Look at that.
Just very briefly, for those who don't know who you are, could you tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do?
Of course.
Do you want to go first?
Go for it.
Oh, very kind.
Go on, why not?
Okay, so my name is Dai Woolridge, and I'm a spoken word poet, I'm a storyteller, I'm a children's author. I love creativity, and I love this one right here. So that's a bit about me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm the other half. You can decide if I'm the better half or he is.
We'll let you know at the end.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, I am super passionate about creativity as well. So in my kind of day job, I've just stepped into the role of head of 24/7 Prayer Wales, which is exciting, and I'm loving that. And then we both run Sound of Wales together, which is like a collective of worship leaders and storytellers and musicians. And I guess from Ammanford, which is why we have these very
Oh, you're
rich-
Welsh. I wouldn't have guessed.
I know,
Beautiful
sorry.
accents.
We are Welsh, Luke. Can
We
you
hide
believe
it. We try
am
to
I.
hide it well, don't we?
We do.
I said before we were rolling, I'm going to go distinctly more Welsh the more we continue on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to
I'll
see
be
where he ends
absorbing some of the Carmarthenshire.
Oh, I know.
yeah.
I'm proud
was
to
good.
be. West is best. It
West
was
is
very
best.
good.
Yeah.
West is best.
West is best. I'm
That
not going to lie
soft
to you.
Western lilt I was
Yeah.
picking up on that.
Yeah.
Respect.
Before we get on, not that we need one, we've got the icebreaker.
Come
Okay,
on.
brilliant.
So this is, do you know what, you explain it whilst I try and
Okay.
seamlessly set it up.
Try and get it very delicately and don't break it. So we've got this lovely little wheel with lots of colours on it, and we've got corresponding cards. So we're going to spin the wheel and see which colour it lands on, and then we get to pick up the correctly coloured card and answer a question that's on it.
Here we go.
And I think there's some new questions as well.
Yeah.
So we've no idea what's on these.
Okay. So we have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think before when we did it
so prepared.
when we did it in the first season, it was like I think the colours were just nice, whereas now they actually mean something.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Oh
See
yeah,
that?
do they mean something?
Look at
So
that.
each colour's
Hey.
are topics.
Improving season
Okay.
from season.
Hey.
Right. Shall we give it a spin?
Go on.
Here we go.
Don't break it.
Is it? Oh come on, I was wrong.
It's really sturdy.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's better.
What's the colour? Because I can't see.
What are we
Red.
on?
Like the pinky
Red.
red.
Pinky
here we
red.
go.
Right. So red is what?
What?
What? Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen
Beth.
any of these yet.
Beth.
Beth.
Very good.
Beth. In
Yeah.
Welsh.
In
Come on.
Welsh.
Language of heaven.
Beth.
Not
Finland.
Not
Yeah.
Beth. It's got nothing to do with Beth.
In heaven, everyone will be speaking Welsh.
Absolutely,
So we may
yeah.
as well just
That's why I'm
drop these
learning.
little things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Come on.
Dwi ddysgu Cymraeg. What boundary
Ooh.
did you not realise? Oh, this is another deep one.
Oh.
What boundary did you not realise you still had in the relationship until it got broken?
Oh,
Thoughts?
Ooh. What boundary?
Kath's not ready for this.
What boundary did you
I'm
have
not.
that you didn't realise was there until it was broken?
Would you like some more coffee?
What
before
about-
we...
I'd like some
about-
prayer. I think, go on.
I
I'm trying to-
think
trying
like
to
we
earth it.
try and we have tried throughout our marriage to be very wise with our time because we can be very busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we put
Yeah.
boundaries around our time, but
Yes,
they are often broken.
broken boundaries.
They are broken boundaries,
Yes.
and sometimes I put things in the diary
Yeah.
on evenings that are meant to be you and me, and we have little arguments about it. And
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. But I think, it's, I don't know, maybe integrity with time. And now we've been married for 18 years this year. So
wow.
officially in August, our marriage is an adult. We're
Yeah.
going to take it for a drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are.
The big 1-8.
The big 1-8. But I think I'm like a bit like loosey-goosey now. I'm like, oh yeah, I promised that night, but I can do this. And I break and it's not good, Xavier. Is it?
Kath, there's no judgment here, but yeah, you are rubbish and I am brilliant at it. But,
you are.
no, I think that's a really fair one actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's not something we enjoy, is it? Or anyone probably does, but going through the diary and sort of going, not just mapping out what's in, but actually mapping out the margin. So I think we've really realised that margin's really important, and I think we're constantly having to relearn it. But our danger is that the rest times are just recovery rather than full rest that's enriching and life-giving. So I
Yes.
think we try and kind of put in those margin times now as well. And we've had to learn the hard way because, it's when we're over capacity and, and then we're no good to anyone, are we?
No.
Yeah, it's like the difference between passive rest and active rest, isn't it? It's like,
Absolutely,
we're choosing to rest,
Intentional rest.
which means do things that actually are good for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I like it.
Whoa.
Well
That
handled.
was
was
an
a good
intentional
one. Well
rest.
done.
Thank you.
Icebreaker,
got
whatever.
that in
That's
the
like a
end.
relationship builder. Well, thank you for taking part in that fun exercise,
No
strengthening
worries.
relationships and
Pleasure.
marriages.
Yes.
Well, you wanted to ask these guys, didn't you, about, because you guys aren't any slouches when it comes to podcasts.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, so I had a little listen at your podcast, the Four Eyes podcast.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Explain to people who haven't heard about it what it means
Yeah.
for one thing and why you decided to start it.
So Dai and I have been on a journey of infertility for about, 17 years now. And it's been something that I think has marked us, our marriage, in so many ways. It's been such a long journey with so many kind of peaks and troughs. And when we got to a certain stage within it, we realised how difficult this journey is and how isolating and lonely it can feel sometimes. And so we just sat down, and the way that Dai and I process things is creatively, and we just thought, why don't we start a pod? And we really felt as though we wanted to address the subject from the messy middle. Because I think a lot of people will, talk about it after their happy ending, which is so precious. But we just wanted to talk about where we were, in the midst of miscarriage, in the midst of failed IVF, in the midst of, being the only people in our friendship group who don't have kids, and hopefully being a safe place, an empathetic place, and a fun place, because we do love to have fun, don't we, Beauty? And we just really wanted to reach out with it. So Dai came up with the idea of the Four Eyes podcast, because we obviously, infertility through two sets of eyes, as it were.
Oh, very good, Kath.
Lovely.
But
Very good.
it's the Four Eyes podcast is also infertility, IVF, intimacy, and the in-between.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we address those things, don't we, together, honestly.
Yeah, and I think one of the most profound, elements of it is that in-between bit. So we, like Kat said, we started the podcast because this has been a big journey for us. and this is our in-between. But I think we all have sort of in-betweens in our lives, don't we? Kind of these moments of unfulfilled dreams, you know, where you hoped you'd be and where you are, and how you navigate that. And I think, it's been really life-giving for us, isn't it, to kind of process that out loud. And we've had feedback from people who have said, you know, thank you, you know, even if they're not going through the journey we're going through with infertility, that they're kind of still getting so much out of it, because it's acknowledging this not yet moment that's in your life, this in-between moment where, you know, we all experience in certain ways. So I think, it's been a real gift, isn't it? And I think we've loved it because it's been space, like you said, where we can just play and we can have fun. We can be ourselves. And I think owning the brokenness, I think there's something really powerful about that. Sharing vulnerability, you know, you've got to do it with wisdom, right? It's, you know, if it's like an open wound, maybe it's too soon to share. But I think we really felt that, we wanna signpost people to hope. We want people to know they're not alone. And it came up because, so we both kind of do creative reflections on radio. So I do Radio Wales and Radio 4 sometimes. Cath does Radio 2, The Breakfast Show with Zoe Ball. And Cath had an opportunity to do a pause for thought, I think like beginning of January. And I think your theme was like, was it like new beginnings or something?
Begin again.
Begin again.
Oh, okay.
And we'd just kind of been through this heartbreaking year where we miscarried, and, you know, we were expecting this Christmas that we were going to have this incredible Christmas gift of this baby, this new life forming inside of Cath. And then, we were just heartbroken when it didn't happen. I remember Cath saying to me, as we were kind of still grieving and processing, really, that you've been given this theme at a time of year that's really difficult for a lot of people. And she just went, what do you think about, you know, me sharing our story? And Cath and I process differently. I think I'm probably naturally more sort of private, even though I'm deliberately, you know, intentional about being vulnerable with my creativity. You know, there's moments for that, you know, and I think, but it felt like a moment where this is just too good an opportunity to miss, where it's going to be a cost to us of being vulnerable. To that kind of, you know, to millions of people listening. But it felt like a real opportunity to how many people are going through tough times and just feel like they're alone in it. And so for us to be able to signpost to hope, for Cath to, you know, share our story, and it just blew up. Zoe Ball gave Cath a call, I think like 10 days later, to say the phones, you know, have been ringing, sources have been going crazy. So many people were blessed by that. And I think off the back of that, we felt like, okay, our story is, you know, is worth sharing. That kind of launched us into the podcast journey.
That's incredible.
Were you both kind of like ready at the same kind of time to be in that place of vulnerability? I mean, you know, to share your story, that must have been really difficult. So how did you like have those discussions together? When did you decide that you were both in that place? Like that must have been really hard.
Challenging.
It was, and I think I am very much a heart on my sleeve kind of girl, and I process verbally, and I very much want to share the stories, try and help people, whereas
I don't want to help people.
Definitely.
No, I don't.
I'm not in it for you.
I'm not It's dog eat dog with me. I'm in it for this guy, right?
Look after yourself.
How's you doing?
Okay, all right, okay, I do.
No, but you're a much more of a processor, aren't you? And I think there's a real wisdom to that. And in all honesty, there have been times where I think I have permissioned myself to share something that, because the thing about this is it's not just my story. It's not just Dai's story. It's our story. And sometimes I've run off and permissioned myself to share it in, you know, kind of public context. And it's actually it's just been really difficult for Davs. And there've been arguments. There's been tension around it, hasn't there? And I'm not just saying this to kind of make myself out to be a good person, but I have really made mistakes in that area, and I have been a megaphone into this area where sometimes I actually need to recognise that before sharing this story, I need to check. And we need to check, and we need to recognise this is our shared story. So that has been
and I think
difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think you've kind of summarised that so well, because it's definitely a tension point. And there's going to be tension points in marriage, because you're two different people, right? You know, trying to live this kind of life, this partnership together. But I think part of the podcast for me was when Cath was getting this opportunity to share our story to millions of people. It was a moment to be like, there was this wrestle inside myself of, but I want to share our story too. And I was like, okay, but you know, there's a bigger picture here, because I knew this was going to bless Cath, but also the opportunity to give hope to so many people. It was worth counting the cost in that moment. And I think the podcast was an opportunity to be like, you know, it's not just the girl that goes through this journey. You know, Cath longs to be a mum. I long to be a dad. And as her husband, I long for her to have her heart's desire as well, you know. So there's this kind of journey that we're both on. And and I think for me, I've probably not shared as much of that journey, that story as you have. Part of it has been an opportunity thing, but I think part of it has been, I need to feel ready to share that as well. And with the podcast, we've taken a bit of a break because it's a tough journey, isn't it, my boat? And we've needed to kind of, care for ourselves as well. We want to bless people, but you know, if it's an open wound, then maybe we need to let it heal a little more.
Yeah. It's a bit of an interesting dynamic, really, because you're being public about it and you're deliberately wanting to bring your story to the public so that others may benefit from what you two have struggled through. Is it easier to talk about it with it in an intentional context, like, okay, I'm going onto a podcast, like today, to talk about this, versus you're chatting with your mate in the cafe or the pub and they just check in the moment? How are you doing? Is the cost different? Is the one easier than the other?
I think so. You know, I think for me, kind of owning the narrative helps.
Right.
So like if we're deliberately choosing to do the podcast, I prepare myself for that space. It's like, okay, you know, I get to kind of, contribute towards this rather than it just happen around me. I think that's kind of what terrifies me a little bit is, if we're going to, like when Cath miscarried, we just went back and we were heartbroken, weren't we? And I think for me, I wanted to kind of, bunker down a little bit and kind of close rank and, you know, obviously tell our parents. And, you know, we've got some incredible friends and we were trying to sort of work out between us, you know, how sort of far do we go in terms of sharing? Because I think for me, I needed that, sense of space to process. And I think aware of people naturally finding out because people care for you and not in a sort of malicious way at all. But I think for me, it's a lot easier when we go, okay, I think we even put like a post out on social media because I wanted to contribute to this journey that we're on rather than people just kind of find out. So it's a funny one, but I think that's part of it for me.
It is, isn't it? When we're doing podcasts, I guess we're in control of the narrative in a way, whereas when you're out there in a conversation and you don't know what people are going to say, and sometimes it might. But I think being in control of the narrative is amazing, but also it actually is really good to have friends and family speak into those things and beautifully challenge moments and you know. Just be tender and we're so grateful for the kind of inner circle of people that we have to be able to walk this through with.
Yeah, definitely. And I read a book when my dad passed. My dad passed from pancreatic cancer about 13 years ago now. And as I was journeying through that grief, I read a book called A Grief Observed. And it was just soul food when I read it. And one of the things he said was that when he'd bump into friends or colleagues on the street, he'd say he was frustrated when they didn't bring up and didn't ask him how he was doing with that thing.
Right.
And he was equally frustrated when they did. So when they didn't, it was like, oh, why don't you care?
Yeah.
And when they did, it was like, oh, can't you be sensitive?
Yeah.
You know, can't you give me space? And I laughed at that going, that's kind of what grief's like.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, you know, our friends, you know, and our family we're so blessed to have such incredible people in our lives. But yeah, it must be challenging for them because,
It's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey. It's been a long journey.
I think that's just, it's really hard, I think, as well, if you haven't went through infertility yourself to then even know. And it is similar to grief, like you're saying. It's difficult for people to know, how can I best support you and look after you in that if you have no experience of that? So people can tend to either run away or maybe try and involve themselves too much. And did you guys find anything with friends, family, etc. at that time where they did things that were particularly helpful or even particularly unhelpful? And was that like, do you think that's unique to you, or do you think there is anything across the board?
And what advice would you give to people?
I think I think in terms of things that helped me, it was the narrative of just being present. I'm here, but you don't have to explain anything. And that was like an amazing space for people to create. I think I am a people pleaser. So if somebody comes and is like, oh my goodness, how are you, I will want to answer them to help them feel comfortable more than making myself comfortable. So to have that space of, look, I'm here, but you know, you don't have to explain. That was, I remember one of my friends actually, Jess, she did that and I was so grateful for it. You know, asking the questions like, do you want distraction today, company today, or space today? Like almost like listing it out, you know. And it almost like they're posing the options because you haven't got the capacity sometimes within your grief to even know. But it's like, and then you can check your kind of soul on it, you know. Another thing that I think is really important is for your close people is remembering appointments that you're going to, because there's so many, just a quick text, a quick phone call. And I remember another one of our friends, Sian, this one day we'd had a really important appointment and when we got home, she literally just knocked the door and she'd brought us a roast dinner that she'd cooked us. She was like, I'm not staying. I'm just here to bring this to you. You don't have to answer any questions. And it was like a delicious dinner. I didn't want to chat. But it was just right, you know.
Perfect.
And I think it's people letting you feel hopeful, but also letting you feel hopeless for a bit as well. And not being corrected in that. So I think it's space and it's being present. I think those are the things that really helped me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, you know, I totally agree with that. It was such a blessing when friends, you know, did food drop-offs. We probably put on a few pounds, didn't we, at that time? Shoot, like everyone bringing over everything on. It's like, oh, brilliant. Oh, shoot. The scales are like, what are you doing? But yeah, but like it was a gift in that you felt seen, you felt cared for, you felt prayed for, you felt thought of. But there were also moments where we were too vulnerable to kind of hold a conversation with anyone bar each other, probably. And maybe our parents. And so I think the fact that people got that was just wonderful.
Well, we also talk about, so we Care for the Family, we've got something called bereavement care awareness, which is all about helping people, kind of like training, isn't it?
Yeah.
Training people on how to have conversations with people who are going through bereavement.
Wow.
And one of the things they do in that is they talk about, so from the perspective of people who are grieving, they list some of the things that people have said and weren't helpful, are there things that you could maybe just sort of, like, not specifics, but just sort of things that, right, okay, when having a chat with us, just be conscious of X, Y, Z. Have you got anything you would...
Yeah, I think, and I get this because if the shoe was on the other foot, this might be what I would have done without the experience. But like forcing optimism is really hard sometimes. It's like,
it's good.
You know, it'll be okay. It's good. I think it's just you need that space to lament and what I find is if you don't create that space to grieve with people, it's going to come and bite you in the butt afterwards. It's almost like, you know what I mean?
It's
like
coming back.
Like,
What an image.
Bite you in the butt. Come on. But I think it is a journey, and the people go on that journey with you is really
good.
important. Comparing experiences, I think at the beginning, like 17 years ago when we started this journey, when people would say to me, you know, like after our first failed IVF, oh, well, my sister or whatever had a failed IVF, but then the second time it worked. That would help. But now we've had like failed IVF, then we had a miscarriage, then we had major surgery, and I think everyone's story is so different that I think I've got to a point now that when somebody tries to say something like that, it just sends me into a bit of a tiz. And I know they're only doing it to try and help, but I think it's kind of, again, kind of just creating that space to maybe let the person grieving be the one who kind of controls that bit of the narrative, you know?
Yeah.
I think asking for constant updates was something that I found because this journey has been so long and IVF takes so many days. It's like constant updates. And instead, like I said before, creating those kind of like getting the message, the text message, or getting the phone call so you know somebody's there, but it's more like what you need rather than the other. And I think these things are just really important. But I do think it'd be different for everybody. And I think what's really important as well is to recognise that as the people who are grieving and who are going through this journey, the people who are doing these things, even when they're unhelpful, are only trying to love you.
Yeah.
You have to come and go, like, take yourself away from it and go, they're just doing this because they want to try and put a positive spin to this. They're just trying to... And I think that has really helped me. Is like, okay, I'm going to...
Seeing the intent
behind it.
That's gracious.
Yeah.
That's kind.
Yeah.
There was something you said, actually, Cath, in your podcast that I listened to that I thought was quite powerful. And you said, the past is for remembering, the future is for reimagining, the present is for remaining.
Yes, good.
And just how difficult it can be for anyone to have to remain where you're at, whatever it is you're going through, remaining in your present can be really hard.
Yeah.
And I loved the way you spoke about that and you described the point where you realised, I have to face up to this. I can't, squash the feelings or I can't run away from it. I've got to remain and embrace this grief.
Yes.
To be able to work through it.
Absolutely. And that's something that has been a huge kind of anchor point for me, actually, through this journey. It's amazing you brought it up because I think if you think of the kind of portals of time that we live in, it is, past, present, future. And I really felt one day as though this was like a message for like our souls in terms of the past is for remembering, the present is for remaining, the future is for reimagining. If you swap those around, imagine it now, then you'll be, if you put remain in the past, when you remain in the past, it almost creates like my soul decays, like it just decays. But exactly the same in this journey, I've often remained in the future where I'm like, the day I get to hold my baby, the day, and if I remain in that, both of those are actually really destructive.
Yeah.
So remaining in the present and almost recognising, okay, a day at a time, Cath.
Yeah.
As a person of faith, there are key moments in the Bible where it talks like there are new mercies every day. And and recognising almost like the mercies for tomorrow aren't here yet. So I shouldn't worry about tomorrow yet because I just need to live in today and the portion that is here for me to receive today.
Yeah.
But also it is recognising that remembering is really important. We remember little Bear, our little one who we lost, birthday every year, and remembering is really important, even if it involves grief. But we don't want to remain in that remembering. We want to remember it in a moment, weep, do what we need to do, and then come back to recognise where we are today. And in the same way, it doesn't mean that we can't reimagine a future without children, but also recognise where we are now. And I think that has been, it's interesting you brought that up because that has been really key for me, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. I'll have to remember that.
Hey, come on, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, I think it's just a real nugget, a real pearl of wisdom. It just really helps you frame everything, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how integral has your creativity been to helping you guys cope through this journey?
Yeah, I mean, huge. I think it was Henry Newon who once said, I write to discover what I think.
Oh, I like that.
It's good, isn't it?
That's a tattoo.
Good.
Yeah, I nicked that off Josh and Luke Smith. But yeah, like I think it's definitely been a case for me, you know. I think probably one of the deepest, most visceral pieces that I've written as a spoken word poem has been around our journey of infertility and longing, you know, to have a family, longing for us to be Team Wooly, you know, bringing up a family together, longing for Cath to be a mum, because I know that's such a deep part of her heart. And I remember this one time we were about to go through IVF and then Cath had a sort of medical issue that meant we had to postpone it. And when you've kind of been on these seasons, it's almost like when you're kind of climbing, I imagine climbing Everest. I've never done it, but I imagine
it's great, mate.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm told.
But like, you can imagine like the guys climbing the base mountain and it's like, oh, brilliant, you know, we're here, we've arrived. And then when they get there, they see, oh no, that never was the summit. The summit's all the way over there.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that's what this kind of in-between feels like is, oh, you know, we're nearly there and we get there and there's another obstacle or there's another summit that we've not reached that we have to climb, and sometimes it's exhausting. And I remember this one time going, I just need to get away and process how I feel. And to kind of to get the pain onto the page, to kind of like a psalm, you know, the Bible's full of these psalms which are basically songs or poems, right? And it's just this kind of like this prayer out, this conversation with God, and that's kind of what I felt like for me. It was this conversation that was happening where I was owning the lament, the brokenness, and it was only through acknowledging that through my poetry, through my writing, that I was discovering like the depths, the deep part of my soul of how I felt. And it's as I was facing that, I was able to come through the other side to a space of hope. I could have suppressed it, but I don't think I would have arrived at hope in the same way. You know, the fact that, there's this crazy connection between suffering and hope. And that's what true hope is. It's kind of, it's refined in these moments that we never would wish upon ourselves. But there's a depth of intimacy in our marriage through going on this journey. We'd never would have asked for it. But I think we've come out the other side stronger for it, more enriched, more in love. And so grateful for it in a crazy downside up way.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think I'm a visual learner, and one of the the little short poems I wrote was called Corridor, and it came from, right, we had all our IVF treatments, and we've had like loads of them. The first 2 anyway were in a hospital in Neath. And there's this long corridor, right, that like you walk down to get to the IVF clinic, and just before it is kind of like the prenatal clinic. And it was so crazy. I remember thinking one day on like, I don't know, it was our second round of IVF, thinking how I'd stood at the start of this corridor and how it had brought so many emotions. Like the first time I walked down that corridor, I was like, this is going to be the moment that we get our bit. I'm so excited. Like, yes, you know. And then there were the moments where like another moment of like an anxiety moment where I remember that they thought I was pregnant but they weren't sure, and I had to go in for blood tests, and it was like this, am I not? Then I remember walking back down the corridor after they recognised I was pregnant, and after like the kind of 10-year journey of everything we'd been through, we were finally pregnant, and the elation of it. And then the next time I walked down it was when I was going for a scan, and it was real elation. We were going to see our baby again. And then walking back down it when we were told that we'd lost our baby. And then the next time of IVF, like, you're a bit more worn out. And how this corridor had been this journey of so many emotions. And I wrote this little piece. Can I read it quickly?
Please do.
Love to hear it.
It just says, this very corridor, sometimes it applauded her. Sometimes it supported her. Sometimes it took the rug from under her. This very hallway, a possible runway to a child of our DNA. But it wasn't the conception highway on that first round November Monday. Hallways and corridors, these in-betweeners, where hope and disappointment tussle as unique features. These formidable catwalks, forever the intriguers. And here we are again. The same corridor awaits for a plethora of examinations and procedure dates. And we will walk this hallway hand in hand, over and over, hoping for a ticket to the motherland. Here we are again, where the future feels like a sifting of sand. But one thing we both know, the finish line is safe in our master's perfect plan. And I think writing that was just such an acknowledgement of where we were, and permissioning ourselves and recognising that joy and pain coexist. And so, yeah, that was something that was really helpful for me, the creativity of that visual moment, I think.
Thank you for sharing that.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think now is a good time to go to a break. I think we need one.
Pass the tissues.
We need to bring out the fun in the second half.
Right, so
Oh, shoot.
right, second half, we're going to sit up and we're going to... Yeah, no, well, we'll cut to a break and then we'll carry on where we left off.
Amazing. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Is your relationship on autopilot?
In the beginning, relationships can feel like the start of a new adventure, but without effort and intentionality, it's easy for couples to drift apart. If you want to invest in your relationship, you'll love Going the Distance, a marriage event from Care for the Family.
For the first time ever, we'll be joining the Going the Distance team with previous Couple Goals guests Catherine Hill, Kathy Madafan and Philip Janadu. Full of wisdom, humour and vulnerability, we'll be exploring the essential areas to help strengthen your marriage together.
We also have 2 great parenting events, as well as our sellout event hosted by our founder, An Evening with Rob Parsons.
All our events go on tour across the country, so to buy tickets or for more information, go to cff.org.uk/tour events. See you there.
Welcome back. Dai's just poured himself another cup of tea. Got to do it.
Got to have a top up.
When it's tea leaves.
When it's tea, yeah, this is loose leaf, baby.
Brought out the good stuff for the Woolridges.
Come on, babe.
Before we carry on with our conversation, LJ,
Yeah.
did you know that loads of people listen to our first season? Isn't that good?
That's great.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
But not quite as many subscribed.
Well, that's not so good, is it?
What?
I know.
Oh, God. I mean, come on, for goodness sake.
Press that subscribe button,
I
right?
think, do you know what?
Subscribe button.
I think
Yes.
Kath nailed it.
That's it.
So anyone
It's
listening,
not for care for the family, for us.
Do it for the Woolridges.
Dai and Cath Woolridge.
We want to be the most popular podcast, all right?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
for
All right,
goodness
love.
sake, subscribe.
And then you won't miss one.
Then you won't miss
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, we got that out of the way.
There we go.
Right, so before the break, we've talked a lot about how difficult it's been and the many ways that you guys have navigated together through the struggles of infertility. Could you talk a little bit about how, as a couple, you've supported one another through that? How have you built each other up? How have you supported one another? Is it different for both of you? Do you have to meet each other differently?
Yeah, great question. What do you think?
I think laughing is a huge part of our marriage, isn't it? Like, we have got... Cue the laugh. We just, like, I think, have
good.
fun.
That's
don't
good.
we, babe?
We do have a lot
We
of
don't
fun.
take ourselves too seriously.
No.
I think what has been really good as well, I think before you get married, well, I think I was so naive to what marriage was, kind of thing. But
What, as in you
marriage...
expected to be this perfect thing that would solve
Well,
all your
no.
problems in life?
No, but I
Shocking
think...
how awful it is, isn't it?
It's shocking.
awful. Believe it.
Goodness me. But marriage isn't linear. There are seasons.
Yes, it's good.
And I think recognising each other's strengths in those seasons, whether it's a mountaintop or whether it's a valley, and laughing whether it's a mountaintop or a valley has been key for us, hasn't it? And we do mad things, like sometimes we will just dance
Troll of the bridge.
dance in the kitchen when we dull. We'll dance in the kitchen when we're washing up.
Love that.
We'll do...
Sorry, when we wash up, when the dishwasher does it, well, listen, no, we both do the dishwasher.
Yeah, we do.
But we do it in very different ways. Cath is incredibly creative. She's also very creative when it comes to loading the dishwasher.
You're
It's abstract.
You're impressionistic. You.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, yeah.
That's how you express yourself, and that's fine, Kath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't let anyone dampen your creativity.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Leave her alone.
Like,
Thank you.
I'm expressing myself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cath's doing an impression of Jackson Pollock. Brilliant. Brilliant. No, not at all. Not at all.
We do this always time for a cutch, which is when one of us is like really like, "Guy, you're doing my head," and the other one isn't quite so there. It's like, there's always time for a cutch. You're joking me.
Don't
There's
touch
always
me.
time for a cutch.
That's so
and somehow it like
You just come in,
melts us.
arms open,
Yeah, come on.
mid-scream.
Bring it in.
There's this crazy moment that I don't think we've said this publicly. I don't know how Cath's going to feel. But, I mean, it's not dodge.
Go for it.
It's not dodge. But when in our first 2 years of married life, we were living in Cardiff Bay. We were out and about one time in the car, and we both spotted this woman who looked like a doppelganger of Cath. And we both felt like this person looks like Cath. It was crazy,
It
wasn't
was
it?
weird.
But like, Cath is 5'1".
She was
one
like
is very
6'8".
So it was like Cath, but like a giant version
Right.
of Cath.
Yeah.
So you were her, but shrunk in the wash.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
that.
Right, I got
Yes. Honey, I shrank Cath.
Yeah,
Innit?
so every so often we've adapted there's always time for a cutch to having a cutch by the stairs. So we'll have a cutch. I'll have a cutch with Cath, which is on ground level.
Right.
Yes.
And then Cath goes on the first step.
Yeah.
And that's Cath in the bay.
I love that.
So it's like I'm
me a
having,
Cath
I'm
in the
having
bay
some
cutch.
kind of an affair with Cath in the bay. And then,
this is what
Cath
this could
goes
feel
on the
like.
second step. And then I'm having the cutch with Cath in the bay with heels on. So,
Yeah.
That's so good.
We do crazy things when we dull.
I find
Saying
this
that
really
loud
reassuring
sounds
that we're not the only weirdos in the room.
Not the only
Can I have a
weirdos.
coach of Cath in the bay today? Is that all right?
It's just what I need right now.
I need Cath in the bay.
Yeah.
Go on, put your heels on. Go on. Go up.
and my favourite cutch is with Cath in the bay. But I think that's your favourite cutch as well.
I think it is. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
There we
so
are.
good.
We've told people.
love that.
It's out
We've told
there.
the world. It's out there.
So it's good to laugh.
It's good,
good to
laugh.
Well, we're big on that.
Come on, Dav, bring some wisdom.
Yeah, definitely. I think. What was Cath in the Bay, not wisdom? I think recognizing, that we're both on this journey, and I think Cath is just wonderful with, there's love languages, right, and there's different ways that you can kind of show love, and even though, I'm a poet, using words is one of my greatest passions. Sometimes I kind of find Cath say to me, "Do you love me?" I'm thinking, I've literally spent like 5 hours, slow cooking like roast beef. I've kind of done triple cooked roast potatoes. I've got to be slaving and I've given that to the Cath, "Do you love me?" And I'm like, can't you tell? This is my way of showing you love.
Food is my love language. Come on.
Yeah, but I think, so part of the reason I do that is because I know that Cath loves food. It's like her taste buds come alive. And so that's one of the ways that I think I try and love Cath well, is that when she's going through a tough time, we've got this we've got this corner sofa that we got just before lockdown, and we've kind of affectionately called one area where Cath's sloth corner.
Sloth corner.
But when Cath is kind of giving so much out of herself, if it's kind of in a ministry capacity, or she's just going through just a bit of a tough time. Like January's not been an easy time for lots of people. There's been moments where it's been tough, I think, for you. My gosh, isn't it? And I kind of go, do you know what? As a husband who loves her, I just want her to feel kind of loved and looked after. So I say, Cath, go to Sloth Corner. I'll make you some food, and that's, I think, one of the ways that I try and help you through the journey, really. And I think learning when to talk as well. I think sometimes we can go through rhythms of we just want to switch off, we want to escape, and like a good Netflix series is great for that.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes that's all you need. You need just good food and a couch, and you're not really ready for the deep chats. But then there's other moments where actually you need those heart to hearts, don't we? And I think those connection times, the face to face times, where you're sitting across from one another, having a meal out. That's something that's quite important to me. Is that we kind of, because you connect on a deeper level. But then I think some of my lessons that I'm learning is, that I want to do that for Cath. But hearing the words, "Do you love me?" are important to Cath as well. And and sort of be present in those moments. So I think that would be kind of maybe one way that I think I try and support you. And then Cath is beautiful in giving gifts. It's just one of, I think Cath's got all the love languages at Dai and Cath. It's really unhelpful. It's like,
I want all of them, please.
Don't you know? Time, acts of service, love, words, affirmation, all of it is my love language.
She's giving you an amazing gift while she's also giving you a coach and telling you you're amazing, and I'm doing the floors at the same time.
Come on.
And can you cook my potatoes 3 times, please?
Absolutely.
But I think gifts is a way that I know. I kind of feel that love and support from you, isn't it? So if there's a anniversary, maybe if it's of Dad's passing as an example, Cath is really, just really considerate in those moments, and grateful for that.
Yeah. And I think as well, 2 things. It's about choosing one another, always. Because there's some moments you grieve differently, and there's sometimes that becomes such a tension point. But I think it's choosing one another would be my kind of, what is something that I know you've done and I hope I've done for you. And another one that I know you've done is constantly show up and recognise what showing up in a certain moment means. Sometimes it's showing up with, I don't know, a bar of dairy milk. Sometimes it's showing up when I'm in a bit of a tizzy mood, and just to make me laugh, you'll pull your trousers down.
I mean, why would that make them laugh? You know,
That's always good for a laugh, innit?
Surely that'll bring out their emotions.
Shoot,
not make
come
you
on,
laugh.
Liz. I didn't want to go into
There's
it.
different kinds of
Goodness.
love, clearly, isn't there?
Yeah, come on. No, but it is. And sometimes you've shown up and I've just needed to just sob and you've just needed to just sit there with me and talk me through it. And what a quote that I love, I think it was Winston Churchill actually who said it. And it just says that success isn't final.
Yeah.
Failure isn't fatal. It's courage that counts.
Yes, good.
And our marriage has had successes. It's had failures. But it's about, all right, we're just going to pick ourselves up.
Yeah.
We're going to be courageous. And that's been huge, I think, for us, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think choosing to see moments where you can find joy, even if it's small moments in the midst of the tough times. And those little kind of idiosyncrasies that make our relationship what it is. You know, they're playful, they're silly, but they're also ways to, show each other that you see one another. Because only you two have that little thing that you do.
Yeah, that's unique to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think one of the key things that I think that's helped us stand the test of time with our marriage is like Cath said, choosing one another, choosing love. Love's not just an abstract feeling of butterflies. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really like each other that much on certain days, but you still choose love.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a beauty in marriage where it's a bond that is, it's not just about how you feel. And it seems quite different, I think, to kind of the way that love is expressed in our culture today. Of course, it's about the feelings, you know, and all that stuff. That's great, but love is a choice. It's not just an abstract thing. It's a gritty thing that you do, and I think those are the moments that you're actually building on your foundation of your relationship. The more you choose, the other person's best over your own. There's something beautiful about that.
Yeah.
And I think trying not to go to bed like disagreeing, trying to kind of go, you know, let's resolve this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel really grateful that I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that, you know, I've been in the spare bedroom because we've fallen out. I think that stuff, it's not lost. You know, that cost. It's worth it.
And speaking of love, you actually wrote a poem about love, didn't you?
What a segue.
Look at that.
What a segue.
I can't do that.
So this poem has been through many iterations. The first time I performed it live was actually at Cath's album launch, her first album, Mercy, right?
Yeah.
And Cath and I were courting, as they used to say back
You
in
were
the day.
a courting?
Courting.
Courting.
Can I hear the
Shows
Northern
our
Irish
age.
accent version of that?
You were a courting.
Courting.
You were courting her. You were a courting.
Irish courting her, so I was.
The day that I performed this, I actually was the same day I drove down to see Cath's dad to ask for his permission for Cath's hand in marriage.
Oh,
you know?
lovely.
So, and she didn't know that. So it's a special poem, and I think it stood the test of time. So it's inspired by this poem on love that is a classic wedding reading that's in the Bible, and this is my kind of take on it. It goes like this: if I speak fancy, angelic pronunciation of the heavenly language, but I've got no love, what am I? Mere noise pollution. If I'm the Einstein of life and of faith that can make terrorism extinct and single-handedly set the world carbon neutral, if love's not on the agenda, I'm nothing. If I give every last penny to the homeless, set up NGOs so the poverty is in the history books, and if I give up my life so the human race can live on, no love, no point. What is love? Love, waits. Love loves to give. It doesn't want what it hasn't got. Mouth off, name drop, brag, or get me centered. Love carries continuously, trusts totally, and hopes wholeheartedly. Love never lets you down and has no limit to its life cycle, because it just keeps on going and 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 going to infinity and beyond. Plus one day, prophecies will be parked. Tongues will get tongue-tied and knowledge will be forgotten. For what we see now is a single scene. One day we'll see the entirety, the full-length feature film and all the bonus features. Because in the end, when you strip it all back, all that's really left is the triangle of faith, hope and love. So go on, take a punt. Which one do you think is the greatest? Love.
Oh, I love that.
That was good.
That was so good. So how long have you guys both been in a similar kind of creative industry together? Because you've both shared poems with us today.
Well,
has that always been a
this
thing?
is a story.
Ready?
Right.
Hey, grab that cup of tea now.
Right,
Everybody said, sit in now. Get comfy now. We're just in the story now, mate.
We have known each other since we were 4 and 5.
Wow.
4 and 5. We were
Oh,
brought
right.
up in
You
the
are
same
going
town.
back. Okay.
And we went to the same schools, didn't we?
Same
Even though
schools.
you're older.
Yeah.
And same church. And the church we were
Kath
brought
went
up.
up a year. I didn't go down here. I just want to. not that I have to make that.
Where's this?
I'm feeling insecure.
Where are we now?
Ammanford.
Ammanford.
Freedom. And we were part of an amazing church where creativity was like the central part of our church, wasn't it? The guy who led our church,
Oh, wow.
he was
Frustrated actor.
frustrated actor.
Loved Monty Python.
Yes.
Off
Tortured
the
artist.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had drama clubs. We had all things going on, didn't we? We had like 3 plays a year that we used to put on. And so that's where we were just immersed in like this
Amazing.
creativity.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it was
I
so
love that.
amazing.
We did these sketches from like the age of 11. We used to do like mini tours that back then was like to us it was like a global tour.
Yeah.
We probably went, like a 3-mile radius.
Yeah. We're going on
chapels.
tour together.
Yeah, a ride, tour bus, all of that.
Yeah.
Love it.
We made it. We're going to Cardigan.
Oh no! Yeah,
But-
but I think it kind of it taught us that the beauty of play, and I think it was a big part of our lives growing up, wasn't it? I think it was a big part of our friendship group. It was a big part of our church, and I think we're just
School.
really blessed
Yeah.
by it.
Yeah, and then we were in these theatre companies together, and then we started a Christian theatre company together, didn't we? And we did that, and that was amazing. And then you went off and kind of veered off in another direction.
Yeah, do you remember why we veered off?
Were we not getting on?
Need a bit of space.
Love keeps no record of wrongs.
I know.
Hey,
Well, let's bring this one up.
we have this old chestnut. But yeah, it was in our first 2 years of marriage, and we were both really passionate about creativity, grown up together, went from friends, falling in love, and so this just incredibly beautiful story. But yeah, like when we were married, the first 2 years were
Oh, tough.
tough, weren't they? It kind of
Really
felt
tough.
like two planets colliding, and we were living together, obviously, and we were working together. We basically had the same job, so we were in each
Yeah.
other's pockets 24/7. So it's not like you can go home and be like, oh, just a right pain in the backside, the person I was working with today.
It was me.
Because
It was you.
or it was me. It was me, and I
man.
think the charity we were working for, I think realised we just needed a little bit of space just to kind of help us. So we kind of built different focuses. So at the time, we were both kind of actors, storytellers, and Kath's a singer, a gospel singer as well. And so Kath kind of went down that route a little more. And then I started writing one-man shows. And so I was kind of exploring storytelling, poetry and comedy, and how you can tell a story. And then so I think that really kind of helped us on a creative path, didn't it? Just getting a little bit of space, a bit of breathing space, a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, because I think in this creative journey, and this marriage, there have been times of jealousy and comparison.
That's interesting.
Because there have been moments where maybe Davs has been more at the forefront, and then moments where it's been more me, and it's been challenging, hasn't it? And I think comparison, it says, doesn't it? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And when you're in such a kind of close-knit relationship and you have that, I think it's been something we've really had to work on through our marriage. And I think what's important is to kind of call out in yourself when you're starting to feel this. Start to deal with it within yourself and then bring it to the table, because when it's left unspoken about, it can turn into resentment, and then resentment can turn into guilt, and it can just turn into something, as we say in Wales, a chafi. It can, you know. And so it's also turned sometimes into like an emotional distance. And I think what's really important is, and this is something that I think we both have learned and are learning, is that when Dai wins, I win.
Yeah.
Because we're one.
Yeah.
When I win,
good.
he wins. Because we're one.
Yeah.
And realising that the world isn't centred around Cath Woolridge or Dai Woolridge, and trying to deal with pride and trying to deal with ego. And it's been a journey, isn't it? And, you know, again, coming back to the fact, because it's such a part of our lives, our Christian faith, it's all about coming to this part of, like, you know, kind of putting others above yourself. And I think in anyone's life that's hard, but as a creative, when you're made to be on the stage, or you're made to, it can really fall into this pit of like, you know, the world is centered around me, and it's not. It's really unhealthy. And I think that's really taught me about, you know, okay, put others above myself and celebrate the wins, celebrate your wins, even more than maybe I celebrate mine.
I think I just come off the back of that, I really think I've had to learn that. I think Cath, just want to kind of honour her really, because I think she's been a lot better at that than I have, especially in the earlier years of our marriage. And I think, you know, girls tend to mature quicker than boys, don't they?
Yep.
I mean, you know, bar me and you, Luke, of course.
Oh no,
you know,
we're the exception that proves the rule.
Exception to the rule. But yeah, like I think I certainly noticed that with Cath when we first got married. You know, Cath, in our sort of friendship circles, you know, she was the kind of one pioneering before any of us really. You know, she kind of founded Ministry Sound of Wales, and she was putting on creativity conferences, and I was involved in them, but Cath was the one that was kind of leading from the front really. But yeah, I found that hard in the early years, because I was on this journey going from, you know, storytelling, Christian theatre can be professional and good, to kind of exploring poetry a bit more deliberately, and yeah, so feeling a little bit kind of insecure in my gifting as I was still forming and crafting my own voice. And Cath was trailblazing, and I would kind of look around and go, I love you, but I hate how well you're doing right now.
I know.
That's how I'd feel, right?
Yeah, like on that, I've got a question. Was there ever a time then, working in similar industries like that, where a job opportunity came up that you both could have went for?
Ooh.
Have you ever been in that situation where you've had to maybe choose, oh, you should go for this and I'll step back, or?
The only thing is pause for thought, isn't it?
I was going to say that.
Yeah. So basically, I wrote my first book, and off the back of my first book, there were like PR opportunities, and the BBC got a hold of my book, and off the back of the book really liked the kind of way I storytelled the book, basically.
Well, you did a video trailer.
I did a video
and so
trailer.
they got to see you in action as well.
Yes. And so that's when I was called up to be asked to be one of the Pause for Thought contributors on BBC. And it was amazing. And then I did a few on like the kind of midnight hour, you know, the Pause for Thoughts that probably no one listens to. And normally, either you stay there or it takes quite a lot of years or you don't get to kind of like the morning breakfast show kind of thing. But the producer really liked me on that show, and he was finishing on OJ Berg's show and wanted to take me with him to Zoe Ball's show. So I just got this kind of like really quick kind of promotion to like, you know, mainstream radio, and it was incredible. And I have loved that, but there's been more months, hasn't there, where maybe there's been opportunities for you to put yourself forward for that. And sometimes in my kind of awfulness, I've been like, no, that's my thing. And it's so bad. And yeah, I don't know if you want to speak into...
Yeah, no, I think that's a great example for us, because it's a real life example of us kind of journeying this space together. So, you know, we do want to be each other's best cheerleaders, biggest cheerleaders. And I think I've learned from Cath, you know, because she's cheerleaded me so well. And I've kind of had to learn, oh yeah, like when Cath wins, I win. You know, we are one. And, you know, as a husband, you know, I do want to kind of lay my life down for her and serve her and yeah, want to see her flourish. And I'm kind of doing my role as a husband, you know, I'm kind of doing what I should be doing if that's what's happening, right? Yeah. But yeah, like the pause for thought was probably one of those career goals. I'd be like, oh, I think I could do a job there, you know, I'd enjoy that. So when Cath got the opportunity, yeah, I definitely felt that tension of, oh, brilliant, I'm chuffed for you. On the inside, I'm like, but I want that.
Yeah. It's like
naturally.
But like, I think, you know, it has been a journey, and I think, you know, I've had opportunities. I'm doing Radio 4 in London next week, and you know, I've had some incredible opportunities. I've been on Radio Wales recently as well, and I think, like, maybe there'll be an opportunity in the future where I do Radio 2 Pause for Thought, and I'd love that. But I know my priority is to cheerlead Cath, and I think I'm really glad. I wouldn't have asked for, like, you know, it to happen that way around. But I'm so glad that it did, because I think it's given me that kind of choice to go, yeah, when Cath wins, I win. Yeah. And yeah, maybe you could do it as well, but it's not about you right now. It's about Cath. And like, look how brilliant she's doing, and how amazing is that? Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity to learn that.
Yeah, and I think, and it's different. Like I said, success isn't linear. Failure isn't linear. And I think there's been points, you know, Daz was talking about the beginning of our marriage when I was pioneering. I think through the infertility journey, I then came to a place over many years where actually, like I said, when I read the Corridors poem, I felt lost. I felt like there has been all this momentum and all this success, but actually all I want to be right now is a mum. Like, that's all I want to be. I give all that up. And there's been moments where I felt really lost in that. And then there's been seasons, I'd say more recently, where Dai has been the one pioneering and being propelled. And in all honesty, there have been moments where I have been really in the depths of anxiety and depression, where I've had a real fear of he's going to outgrow me, and not just, and that, like, it's a very human thing. I think he's going to outgrow me creatively, but more than that, he's going to outgrow me because I felt so lost in some seasons. Like, will I even be good enough for him anymore? Like, am I gonna be the wife that I once was when I was like successful? And it's been a genuine fear, like, to the point where, and I'm being really honest here, like, there are times when I'm like so my biggest fear is like, oh my gosh, what would I do if he ever left me? Or you know, and I think that's a very real fear. This fear in marriage of outgrowing each other. Yeah. And whether that is in our context, in like a creative but I think you have to come back to, I am not defined by my success. Dai is not defined by his success. We may be successful today, tomorrow we might be the biggest failure going. Like, but what defines us? What defines our marriage? Our title doesn't. Our, resume doesn't. What defines our marriage is the fact that I will keep choosing him. He will keep choosing me. And for us, it's our faith. It's that we're rooted and established in a faith that believes that our identity comes from God. And I think you have to come back to a place of recognizing what identifies our marriage. Because if it is going to be identified by these successes, you're not going to have a leg to stand on, because you might be successful today, but tomorrow it can all change,
Yeah, I think that's really poignant, really good. I think we try and earn our worth, we try and earn our value, don't we?
Yeah.
And we don't realise we're doing it.
Yeah.
If only I can do this, if only I can show this person that I've achieved this or I've done that. You kind of get through this way of thinking where you're just checking boxes. And yeah, I kind of think of Love Actually, which is a bit random, but stick with me. The opening monologue where Hugh Grant goes, talks about the Twin Towers and horrendous time in 9/11, and they weren't trying to tick off their to-do list or finish deadlines. They were calling loved ones. Yes. And I think, sometimes we forget perspective and what really matters. And so obviously our creativity is an expression of us, searching for meaning and trying to communicate and signpost to hope. It's a big part of our lives, isn't it? But life's not about how brilliant my latest poem is. Like, am I showing up as a husband?
Yeah.
Like, am I there in the valley moments? And, recognizing our long for a family, like that's a huge part of our story. And I think that's been a season for you, is going, I've been so blessed by the pioneering stuff that I've done, and that's great and it's important, but actually I'd give anything to have like a family right now and to raise children together. So I think perspective's a huge thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And recognising, I think, that there'll be some moments in marriage where, Dai's flourishing, I'm not. There'll be some moments in marriage in our marriage where, like when Dav's lost his dad, he was in so much grief and went into a depression, and I had to step up into a different roles. I think recognising that in marriage, depending on the season, your roles change. And being ready for that, and being willing to adapt to that, isn't it?
Good,
Yeah.
I love that.
That's really great advice
powerful
as well, because I think, because we're in an interesting season now, because we're in season 2. But this is relatively new for us. So I think there's a few similarities to what you've been saying as I've been listening to you describe how you both creatives and have brought up in that, and we're similar in a way. But it's interesting that everything you're saying, because I feel like you're so much further along that path than we are. There's so much wisdom in what you're saying, just be for one another. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Be for one
be
another.
each other's champion and
You're smashing
cheerleader.
it, babe.
I love that. So are you, babe.
Thank you. That's all
Well, you are both smashing it.
You are.
Both are. Yeah.
Look at us all.
Yeah.
We're all smashing it.
Aren't we all brilliant?
Aren't we all awesome?
We are all
Aren't we just incredibly humble people?
We'll talk about humility next time.
What about you next time? Oh, I love it. Right, I think that's a really good place for us to land.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh,
this has been
pleasure.
amazing.
It's been
you've
amazing.
shared so vulnerably and honestly with us, and I think it'll just really help people who listen in. So thank you so much.
We've got one more question. So at the end of every episode, we're asking everyone we comes on the same question. What would you say to your younger selves?
To little Dai and little
Picture
Cath.
yourself, go back, little Dai, little Cath. You've only been going out a little bit. What relationship advice would you give to one another?
I think I would say, love her. Just every day, think about how you can love her, think about how you can serve her, because nothing is wasted. I think that's what I'd say. Yeah.
I think I would say, assume good intent from the other person, because so often we can read the room wrong. And I think it's really important to assume the best of your partner and then verify it, you know, and come from that positive kind of, so that would be one.
Wise
I could
words.
probably have a better one
Was
than
that a Winston
but-
Churchill as well?
Right, it wasn't a Winston Churchill. No.
Was that a Cath original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cath in the Bay.
Kath of the Bay once told me, how are you so tall? Well, it's because...
Cath of the Bay, so wise.
Yeah.
On that profound wisdom.
Come on.
We'll end it there. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you
Pleasure.
so much.
Pleasure.
It's been fabulous.
Pleasure.
You've been fabulous.
Diolch.